All right. Good afternoon and welcome to the December 10th, 2025 meeting of the Calaveras County Water District. If you're able, will you please rise for Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Director Davison will not be joining us today due to a family issue that has come up. So we will move on to, we are all here. I think we don't need to do a roll call. And we'll move on to public comment. We're going to try to limit public comment to 3 minutes. I want to make really clear to everybody that if you're speaking about an agenda item that comes later on in the agenda, I will stop you and ask you to bring that comment forward for that agenda item. I also want to emphasize that we're not going to do a dialogue. This is an opportunity for you guys to address the board. And obviously the board has questions. It's at their discretion, but I don't want it to start being a dialogue or we'll end up arguing and never get through what's going to be a very long day of meetings for this panel. With that, we'll open public comment. Who would like to join? Come on up.
Patrick Roy, Rancho Calaveras. I have a question for the board. It's pretty much personal in nature. But back in 2017, late 2017, 18, I started approaching the board about the road conditions and the patchwork that was being done in Rancho Calaveras and when this stuff was going to get straightened out. And there was quite a bit of service line work that was taking place, and the roads were pretty beat up. The response was that it would be done soon because the CCWD was coordinating with the county, and the water district was going to get their work done, and then the county was going to come in and resurface. And this was in 2017, 2018. Well, to date, we still haven't seen any resurfacing take place by the county. So evidently, what's become apparent is CCWD is not done with their service work, because suddenly there seems to be a major push to replace all the service lines from Milton Road on Baldwin all the way to, I'm going to guess Connor, because that's where the AB line is going to take a turn. But what's this sudden reason for digging up more of Baldwin and giving us more damage to our roads? I mean, what is causing this need to leave us with more thumps and bumps than we've had in the past? I know it's not going to get fixed right away, and is soon going to be another 7-8 years, like the last interpretation is soon came about. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Provide a quick update on that if you'd like, just to we can follow.
Actually, why don't you guys follow up
That's
afterwards? That's all right, Patrick. Mike will give you when we break.
Hello, my name's Greg Popovich. I've been in here a couple months ago and we talked. I have a water service over in Forest Meadows that's being not utilized. And I have a number of lots over there. I wanted to switch the water service to another lot. And when I tried, they told me that you can only do it once, and somebody did it a long time ago to a lot that's almost unbuildable. So what we had talked about that day was possibly being able to rectify it to where I could move that water service to a lot I could build on, so that CCWD can make some revenue, and I can sit there and make that a useful service instead of paying every month for something I'm not using. And I haven't heard back from anybody. I don't know who to call. So I just am in sort of a state of not knowing what to do here. So if I'll leave my phone number with her, my card, and if you could please have somebody give me a call, that would be great.
Yeah, please leave your contact info and we'll reach out to you.
Thank you.
Sorry if we did.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Would like to go up next. Fernando Francisco.
Good afternoon. Two things. So you have some sense of the source of all of the commentary, et cetera. I thought it'd be helpful to give you a little bit of background on who I am and what I try to do and represent. But this comment is specifically related to what's coming down the pike with SB 555, with the measurements that we're supposed to be taking, with the data we're supposed to be reporting, and with the kind of information we should be using to make decisions. Specifically, I'm looking at the 12/8/2025 data submission to the Water Resources Board, where the baseline real loss number for Calaveras County, Jenny Lind, is listed at 147.8. So that's a big number. And I think we're supposed to get down to 20 something, but I would need help from your staff to make sure I'm interpreting this data right. What it tells me is that we've got a AB transmission line project going on right now. And I'm recommending that we have a pre and post analysis, and the analysis to be done that way means that right now for 30 days, you should be capturing some data before we complete, before we turn the system on. And then for the next 30 to 60 days after it's complete, we should do the same data to see, are we having an impact on the ILI? Are we having an impact on any of these measures that we have to report to the state? And what kind of impact is it? Is it meaningful, or does it still require work to be done for the distribution system after tank B? Because my understanding of the physics is that we're doing A to B implementation, but what happens after B was not as affected as whatever was being served by the 8-inch pipeline. And so if we're going to have any chance of reducing the 147.8 gallons per connection per day as a loss, then we got some work to do. And I'll submit the formal request for that pre and post analysis through the mail. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I also want to speak on an issue that's not on the agenda. Okay, Stina, is there any online?
I don't have any hands up online, no.
Very well. That concludes public comment. We'll move on to board.
I'm sorry, we just had a hand pop up.
Okay, we got a hand popping up.
Mark Carter.
Thank you. Mark, we've got 3 minutes for you.
Mark, you're on mute.
Is that better?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. Yeah, there was just a comment I wanted to bring by to the board, and maybe get some insight from Mr. Minkler. The comment has to do with so many people I'm dealing with, and they're looking to be able to be involved with CCWD and the board, and direction by the board. However, they can't do it because of commitments with work. And, you know, I'm sure all of you have been aware of that. Everybody here has had to work for a living. And so my question is, what would it take to have the board to reconsider having board meetings available to people that want to either attend in person or online? And I mean, what number would it take? I mean, would it be a few hundred people, or would it be a few thousand to have the board reconsider their meeting times? And if Mr. Minkler could address anything on that, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mark. Does that conclude your comments?
It is.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody who showed up to comment today. Appreciate you guys being a participant in this meeting, or being part of this program.
Jack, I'd like to just make one, just
Sure.
to note that we did ask that to become soon an item for discussion. So it should be on the agenda early next year.
Very well, that concludes our public comment. We will move on to item number 3, board reconstitution and election of officers. I will turn it over to General Manager Winkler.
Okay, so at this point, we would, for the election of officers, accept nominations for board president.
Make a nomination for Director Garamendi.
I second.
And motion and to close the nominations.
So moved.
Second, still second. So there's a nomination and the nominations have been closed. Roll call for president.
Director Thomas,
I'd like to hear a campaign speech.
I promise I will draw no extra salary for this job.
Okay, all right. I vote affirmative.
Director Ratterman,
Yes.
Director Robertson,
Yes.
Director Garamendi.
Yes. Thank you guys very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I want to thank Director Davison for his last year of service, or not his last year of service, but serving last year as chairman. Or president, he did a great job. Thank him in person if he was here, but if you're listening online, Jeff, thank you. We'll move on to the second part of item number 3, which is nomination of the board vice president. Are there any nominations from this board?
Yes, yes, President Jack-elect, I would like to nominate Scott Ratterman.
For a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a first and a second. We have a motion and a second. Is there
I would like to move that the nominations be closed.
I'll second that.
motion and a second again? We have a roll call for vice president, Madam Clerk.
Director Thomas,
Yes.
Director Ratterman,
Yes.
Director Robertson,
Yes.
President Garamendi.
Yes. Now, normally this is the option where we start shifting chairs, but I'm pretty comfortable in my chair and I like sit next to Russ.
I've sat here for about 6 years. I think I'll stay.
So it's all right with everybody.
Move our name tag.
One of the things that we will do, that I'll do as president, is I would like to ask you all to submit to the clerk with, as is tradition, committees that you would like to serve on. Pretty good idea what people want to do, but we will go through the traditional process. If you could submit any changes you'd like to the clerk, she and I will review it and get it submitted for the next agenda meeting. Work for everybody?
Absolutely.
Cool. Is there any public comment on this item before I close?
Thanks, Ralph.
Scott, just different one.
That's nice for a while. While it lasted.
Looking forward to the new administration. We'll see what we can get done.
Thank you.
Right. And no further public comment. I don't see any hands up online. We will move on to the consent agenda. Item number 4. These items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They acted on the board at one time without discussion. Any board member may request that any item be removed for later discussion. Are there any public comment on these items before we take them up? We're going to stick with the same format, 3 minutes. Thank you.
Question on item 4C. Are there any reports that could be made available that show trends year over year by vendor or by payee so that we have a sense as to what's going on in that? I'm assuming this is the journal that says this is all the stuff we paid this month, right? I've never seen anything, for totals month over month. It's just boom, boom, boom. So you can't see, is it doing this? Is it doing this? We want it to do this. But if it's doing this, something's going on. So can that be done at the next board meeting? Is that too difficult, or do I ask for the Excel spreadsheet and I can have it done?
We will have to get back to you. I don't have the answer for that as I sit up here new, but certainly it should be easily accessible.
Thank you.
Very well. For the consent agenda, is there a motion to accept?
I would like to, 4D.
Anybody else want to pull an
I'll make a
item?
motion for the remainder of the consent agenda aside. D.
Very well. Have a motion
I'll second that.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 401. Excluding item 4D, which we'll take up now.
Mr. Meyer, could you come up and answer a quick question? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Jeffrey, it has, it's weighing heavily on me that, this, I think, is going to be your last board meeting.
Yes, sir.
And, I hope that you'll take my comments appropriately. I have grown to appreciate your devotion to duty and your thoroughness and accuracy and your numbers and everything. But I'm looking at this this report on the monthly investment transactions. There's a line item that's called withdrawal of operating cash, and I see that account is out of balance by 2 cents. And I'm really disappointed in you.
You know, I apologize, Director Thomas. It's probably just a rounding error, but you know, a penny is a penny. Penny saved, penny earned, right?
Most accountants that I've known would have just left it blank, but true to form, you're right up to the last day. You're bringing us the accurate information. So my compliments.
Well, thank you.
That. And I apologize for the
Not at all.
deviation from protocol here. Thank you very much. You're going to be missed.
You know, I'm going to miss everyone here. It's been a long road. We've gone through an awful lot together, and I have a lot of fond memories. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I would like to move to approve item 4D.
Second.
Second. Is there any public comment on this? See no public comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 401. Okay, we'll move on to item number 5, new business. This item is regarding amending the district's leak adjustment policy. Jeffrey, you're right. You're going to stand up there for a while today.
Yes, I think this was planned by these two here.
Just because it's your last meeting.
Squeeze every last drop.
That's right. Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. The item before you today is amending the district's leak adjustment policy. This item was brought to the Finance Committee and they reviewed it and recommended it be brought to the full board. The current leak adjustment policy was developed in several iterations. The first one was adopted by the board in 1997 by Resolution 97-10. And no, I was not here at that time. And then it was revised again on June 14th, 2000 with adoption of Ordinance 2003. Now, ordinance trumps resolution. Ordinance has to be replaced by an ordinance. That's why we have gone through this process of an ordinance, and it has been duly noticed in the local newspapers appropriately. It was 2 weeks in advance and just recently as well. So we have properly noticed this item. How can I put this? Having assumed control, oversight of customer service, once we lost our previous business service manager, one of the things I've been involved in is more and more customer relations, conversations with individuals, finding out ways that we can help them to manage their bills and manage discrepancies or leaks such as this. In the past, individuals were only given one leak adjustment every 5 years. Sometimes what happens is they will get a leak of adjustments of maybe $80, and we explain to them what the rules are. They said, thank you, I'll take my $80 now. A year and a half later, they come back with a leak adjustment of $300. Something catastrophic happened on their side. Unfortunately, current policy does not allow us to go back and make any changes. What this policy change will do will allow us to go back, take a look at the prior one. Let's say it was $80, and we can say, okay, we can kind of put that one aside and we'll look at the current one, say $320. We will authorize the $320 one, but we will deduct $80 from the previous adjustment so that they're not penalized for that adjustment. So what we've done, and this is a lot of feedback back and forth between the customer service reps and myself and in their conversation with customers. So we feel this is a great way to assist our customers who run into issues that are unforeseen when they take that first leak adjustment. So what this does, it allows you to have a second leak adjustment, but it'll be credited or it'll be deducted. The previous one will be deducted. And you can have up to 2 credit adjustments within a 5-year period.
This is actually expanding our adjustment policy to benefit a customer.
That is correct.
Okay.
And our recommendation is for you to adopt this ordinance, and we could put it in to become effective immediately.
I'll just say the finance committee really liked this a lot. It's not very customer friendly and makes a lot of logical sense to help someone out. It's picked up a significant debt that otherwise responsible for.
Jeff, this strikes me as being something that might have been overlooked, or maybe my understanding has been flawed for a while. On point number 4 on the amended water leak adjustment policy, it says the adjustments will cover one billing period and are calculated at 50% of the amount. But I've been sitting here for some time now, and I've seen water losses of $3,000 that have been accumulated over 3 or 4 billing periods. Is this an oversight, or have I been misled?
No, you have not been misled, and I don't believe it's an oversight because we do constant outreach with individuals. Remember, we have an AMI system that allows us to look at usage, and we can determine if there's a slow leak or a large leak on the customer side. We do outreach with them, but if the customer chooses not to fix it, that should not be on us.
Well, but I think the leak adjustment calculation, billing period, which sometimes can be substantial.
No,
If it's extended beyond one billing period.
well, the instances that I'm talking about go back prior to when we had the radio read meters. I remember one specifically, it was $3,000, and it was because it was a vacation facility, a vacation cabin, and it went on for months, and nobody knew. We didn't have the ability to, like we do now, to recognize it, and the owners hadn't been there for 4 or 5 months.
Right. So that was back when there were sometimes 2, sometimes even 3 potentially billing cycles on the pass where we were able to access meters, and so it would be calculated as that. It would be calculated within one billing period because they were only billed base rate up until that point in time, until it caught up. And so that might have that was the thing. I wouldn't call it an exception to that policy, but that's how the policy was implemented in those circumstances. But fortunately, we don't have that issue.
Well, I'm afraid that I will have to vote against this if it can't be, if we don't have the latitude of, say, the person themselves, they don't have facilities like a computer that they could get on the portal and look daily or weekly or monthly for their leakage. And I just talked to a lady this morning that she called up to ask some questions and was told at that time that she's had a leak for quite a while. But I don't, do we not have a way that we can adjust the algorithms within the system that would put a blinking light on somebody's account so that customer service could call them immediately?
So we do notifications when we get those alerts, and to Jeff's point, you know, it gives the customer the opportunity to address that issue, or even if the notification comes in the form of the bill, that at that point, the person notice that there's a leak.
Okay, well, let me clarify what I think I'm hearing you say is that I'm a customer in Valley Springs, and I get a bill that is an astronomical bill, and I've been on vacation in Europe or something. And I come back and I've got a $3,000 bill, and it extends over more than one billing period. If $1,500 occurred in one billing period and $1,500 occurred in the next billing period, the first billing period, $1,500 would be exempt from this calculation? Is that what I'm hearing?
We would look at, yes, one bit as it currently written, it's one billing period. Now, let me back
I
up.
think the reason for that, the policy reason for that, incentivize people to pay on top of that issue and address it before it goes on beyond, you know, multiple billing periods where that does start to incur cost, right? That's what the consumptive rate of the proportion of the rate is geared towards, is that is water consumption.
And may I add one more thing too, is that when you're talking about algorithms, how do we get notification? Customers have that ability too, and they can have.
Some don't.
What?
Some don't have the ability to look.
If you can go on the portal, you can set that up and get notifications.
What about if a person is 82 years old and isn't computer savvy and can't do that?
Well, they can also be, again, looking at their bill and see that the work is there, that their numbers are high. And we can also, as you said, we can maybe tweak our algorithm levels to, and unfortunately, Damon is not here because he's the Centrix Mueller expert. So that we do capture significant increases. Now, somebody has a slow leak, you know, that's not as easy to catch, but they wouldn't have such large bills. May I ask what your suggestion would be?
Well, I just think that the way that we handled it in the past, we had a large accumulated bill. I know it was $3,000 or more, and we gave them a $1,500 credit, but it went through more than one billing cycle. That's what I'm objecting to.
No, assumption was.
Yeah, that has not changed.
Consumption was all billed in the one billing cycle because we couldn't get to the meters. I don't know. There may be others that want to comment on this, but those are my thoughts.
I'd like to hear from the finance committee members. I think this was discussed further in your committee meeting. Your thoughts?
Well, I remember looking at this and thinking that the bi-monthly billing cycle covered a reasonable period of time. I take Director Thomas's point. I mean, you know, something happened right halfway through a billing cycle and went more than 30 days. Someone was away. See, it seems like a pretty rare occurrence, but possible. Because it's the 2-month period, I'm okay with this.
We did discuss this. As a customer, water customer from a different agency, I'll say that this would have been very helpful when I had a broken pipe and that $800 bill comes in. It also, so it does give the customers some, so we're not going to devastate somebody with a single bill. But I would hope that with our new AMI system, we'll be able to catch that leakage when it happens. But as I said in the finance committee, we're fine with this change.
And,
have public comment in.
yeah, and just to, as a clarification, the item number 4, which is, will cover one billing period, that was not changed.
Mhm.
That was part of the original ordinance.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll move for acceptance of the policy.
Yeah.
Rewritten.
We'll do public comment, and then we'll bring it back for a motion on this one. Public comment on this item, stick with the 3-minute guidance.
I'm speaking on the leak adjustment policy. And I asked the board to table this item today. It is premature to penalize ratepayers for efficiency failures without first addressing the district's own performance and technology gaps. I propose 3 specific amendments to ensure this policy complies with Proposition 218 and protects ratepayer equity. Number 1, the technology forfeiture clause, Tyler and Mueller systems. Ratepayers funded the installation of Mueller AMI smart meters and the Tyler billing system. We were promised these tools would provide.
I'm sorry,
Background.
you're being interrupted by something that's happening online. I don't want that.
Okay.
There you go. I apologize.
Okay, I get my 3 minutes back.
You get them all. Yeah.
They have it in writing. The technology, so we were promised these tools would help provide near real-time data. If the district system detects a continuous flow, but fails to push an automated alert to the customer within 72 hours, the breakdown is operational, not behavioral. Mueller Systems has what they call digital
Folks, if you
fingerprints.
can hear me,
And the digital fingerprint can be consistent flow for 24 hours. That's a leak. Showers and sprinklers have different digital signals. They figured this stuff out, so it's not something impossible. The amendment I would recommend is if the district fails to transmit a leak alert via the Mueller-Tyler system within 72 hours of the leak start, the district forfeits the right to apply the conservation tier pricing, which is the highest tier. The customer shall be billed strictly at the base rate for the leaked volume. We should not bear the financial burden of the district's software delays. Proposition 218 and cost of service compliance. When a pipe bursts, the district incurs variable costs, electricity, chemicals, but 0 additional fixed costs, debt service, salaries, infrastructure. By charging 50% of the full rate, you are collecting revenue in excess of the cost of service. Amendment. Leak adjustments shall be calculated based strictly on the marginal variable cost of production, ensuring the district recovers its actual expense without generating unjustified net revenue from a customer's emergency. The clean hands standard, regulatory consistency. Finally, we must look at the district's own performance. I'm referring to State Water Board's water loss standards, updated December 8th, 2025. Rule 34 of the state's data set lists baseline rate real loss for Jenny Lind at 147.8 gallons per connection per day. Rule 36 lists Copper Cove at 137.3 gallons per day. The district is currently losing 5 to 7 times more water per household than the 2028 standard allows. Conclusion, it is inequitable to enforce strict tiered pricing on a ratepayer for a 50-gallon leak when the district's own infrastructure in Jenny Lind is losing 148 gallons connection every single day. District staff, you should table this vote, do a little more studying. A lot of this is possible. But what I don't have answers to is how many claims are you getting that exceed $1,000? Can you answer that?
Jeff?
Yeah.
I'd like to have them finish,
Okay.
and then if you want to.
So here they are.
I don't want to tell.
How many are we talking? Less than $1,000 adjustments, and then more than $1,000 adjustments, where you all get involved with this proposed policy. How many subscribers are on AMI meters? Is it 100%? Is it 98%? Is it 95%? I don't know. That would have been a Damon question. And how many are actually using the portal? Just because it's there doesn't mean it's getting used. They don't set alarms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do you have cell numbers for these customers? How many, what percentage of the base do we have cell numbers? If they have cell numbers, they can be texted. They can't claim, oh, I don't read my emails every day. You get a text, bad logs. And what's the Jenny Lind ILI? And what's the 2028 target? Thank you.
Thank you. Is there other public comment on this item? Jeff, do you have anything you'd like to add? Or-
Sorry, we do have Mark Carter online.
Mr. Carter? 3 minutes. Thank you.
3 minutes.
That hand left over from before? Oh, okay.
Mr. Carter? Going once,
Can't hear you.
twice. My apologies, Mr. Carter. We're missing your comments. And if you're online, if you could turn off your microphone, it's because we were getting feedback in that earlier comment. Thank you. Jeff?
Yes. The question regarding the number of times where we brought to your board a leak adjustment in excess of $1,000. I have not done that since I rejoined the district in 2022. Or did Kelly Richards. So we have not. Now, I do believe there was one prior to that by the former individual, the former customer service manager, but not since we've joined that we've had anything over $1,000.
It happens, it's infrequent. I don't know.
Yeah. Very infrequent.
And then to the point, if I could, one of the points to address is the statement was that overcharging. And in fact, this policy leads to undercharging. So base rate doesn't change. It is only the consumptive portion of the bill that is affected by this, and we're giving the customer a discount on that consumption. That's water that passed through the meter that we're not charging for. So just wanted to correct that this isn't the result in an overcharge, it results in undercharge.
Very well. We've had public comment, we've had discussion.
I'm sure you've got relations.
We have had public comment on this item. We have had public comment on this item already, so we're not going to argue and get in the debate on this. And to the clerk.
I see a couple of ways forward. One, we could table this back to the committee. There isn't any urgency on this, and we could look in depth. I think Cisco has brought up, an interesting point about our responsibility to inform our clients should they have a major leak and we can see that that's happened. Alternatively, we could just add something done that said that exceptional circumstances could be brought before the board after going through the general manager, something like that. I just off the top.
Oh,
On that,
move ahead or revert it to the finance committee for another bite.
Yeah.
And this is not a timely issue. This is a cleanup issue.
This was prompted by a customer request. So to that person, I believe it is a time sensitive issue, and this would have to be renoticed again, as Jeff mentioned. This is an ordinance, so the public notice would have to go back in the paper again. So it would take some time we can do that if that's what the board wants to do. But to the point on, I think it's important to clarify, right? We've provided tools, ways to enhance the customer's ability and our own ability to detect leaks, but we haven't. It's not necessarily a district obligation to provide that notification with a set period of time. We provide that when we can, but we're not. It's not an obligation necessarily. A specific time response. It's tools that we've provided that we try to and as much education and outreach as we can do is in addition to that, but it's not necessarily set up that way.
So what is the pleasure of the board?
First of all, we have a motion and a second.
We get a second?
I don't know. A second.
Okay.
We do have it here, correct? Robert's rule says we have a motion in front of us. And the motion, Scott, your motion was to accept?
Motion was to accept the expansion of the current policy in favor of our customers by a better way of discussing this matter, which can always be changed. We're going to have to notice it again in the future. Could continue studying it, but this further benefits the existing customer that's waiting for our answer. Michael, what is the lead time on that public notice for an ordinance?
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks before the agenda packet
So
goes
we could
out.
further expand this and to further benefit our customers at some point in the future as finance committee, or we can table and go back to the previous policy, the previous ordinance and policy that we have right now isn't going away. This would enhance it to the customer's benefit.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason to stop, and it can still continue to be studied, but that's the pleasure of the board. We do have
I think that's a good point Director Adamant raises, is approving this now does allow the change to go into effect, but it doesn't mean we can't still bring it back for additional consideration.
We've got 2 weeks between every meeting anyway, and more than that during the holidays to notice the discussion of an ordinance.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to accept this with a recommendation for finance committee to dig in deeper on this. Basically, correct?
Yeah.
Is there a second for that motion?
I somewhat reluctantly second that get approved today so that we can help out this particular client that's benefit from it.
And as chair of the finance committee, we could bring it back for more discussion.
I think so.
We have a motion and a second. We'll go roll call because we got a unanimous on this. Becca?
Director Thomas,
No.
Director Rudderman,
Yes.
Director Robertson,
Yes.
President Garamendi.
Yes. With the recommendation that we do take a deeper look at this, the next finance meeting.
Okay.
You won't be here. Don't worry about it.
Actually, we have a finance committee meeting next week, but there will
Okay,
not
well-
be enough time to.
No, we,
Address it.
in the new year, let's put that on the
Yes, sir.
agenda so we could dig deeper into these concerns that I think are valid. Okay, we are, excuse me, guys, my.
Want to reconsider that first action today?
First one?
Yeah.
What's the roll call?
No, you're getting the gavel.
Yeah, first meeting and I already don't have you now. So, geez.
Okay.
Poor leadership. Okay,
I want to point out that I think that's the first time I've ever voted against my colleagues here. So, on the principles.
I think these are good points. Just we could do this in the process.
And I could count to 3.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item 5B. This is regarding approval of an agreement with Global Payments Direct for credit card services. Jeffrey.
I think this one is, and I hate to say this, a no-brainer. But
You put us to the right place.
there we go. Got to make it easy on me for the last meeting, make up for the last one. This particular item is something we've discussed for quite some time in all our monthly budget status reports, where we look at month-to-month variances on, and in this particular case, third-party charges that are due to credit card fees that are charged to people who make payments over the phone, the portal, or other methods of payments, which goes through the exchange. We've noticed that, say, 3 years ago, I believe it was, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, when we created a fee or usage fee for credit cards, we were looking at recovering a majority of our costs through this. And there's a percentage, it's a rough percentage, it's a combination of multiple things, but it was about 3% of the charge that's going on a credit card. We were recovering about 85, 90% of our fees that we were being charged. Well, over the last several years, Global Pay has increased their costs, as much so that we're down to 58% recovery. Now, we had 2 options. We could look at increasing the fees that we charge our customer, were looking at maybe doing another provider, I decided to call Global Pay and start the process of finding out what's going on because they added a couple surcharges recently. Well, that took some time because you talk to a call center, it gets escalated. Anyway, bottom line is they came back with a restructured pricing arrangement for us. And that pricing arrangement, bottom line, is going to be able to save us $29,000 a month. Significant savings. Now, if you approve this today and I sign the agreement and it goes towards Global Pay, they will retroactively make these changes back to December 1st. It's got to be done by the 10th. If we don't, it'll have to be done in January. And I think this is pretty straightforward. I know my staff report gave you all the particulars about it, but actually, I think this is great for the district and even better for the customers because one, we don't have to increase our credit card fees, and two, it reduces the overall cost from the district. My recommendation is for your board to adopt this resolution and allow me to sign an agreement and get it off to Global Pay this afternoon.
First of all, I'd like to say, well done. Congratulations. It's a huge amount of money. And I also note that for your successor, should he or she wish to take it up further, to change is only like a maybe either $250 cost or a $500 cost to switch providers. So well done. Great thing to do in your last month. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to add to that from the finance committee, get that thing signed, is that by 5 o'clock East Coast time or West Coast?
I told
You're
him
gonna
the
have to
actual,
send.
that your board meeting ended at 4 o'clock. He said, I'm okay with that. So as soon as I can, I'll get that signed and off to him.
I did see that deadline. Better get that done.
Yeah.
Better motion.
I think we have to have public comment first.
You're correct. Is there any public comment on this item?
No, don't have to have public comment before we vote, yes. We accept the motion. Yeah.
We
But
could
you're
go either
running
way
the
the board wants. I tend to want to hear from the public before we make a motion, if we can, just so we could take their input into consideration. Is there any, yes, sir.
Yeah, Roy, again, this is kind of a extemporaneous comment, but credit card fees and service fees have gotten prohibitively expensive across the nation with the various services. Laws have recently changed where vendors can now start refusing cards from different services, rewards cards and things like that, where the fees are higher. For the people that use these services, the cost of having the privilege of people taking their money has become prohibitively expensive. A very large percentage of their monthly expenses may be found in service fees for taking money. I implore the CCWD to find the cheapest, thank you for looking into this, the cheapest means possible to continue providing these services. And that may require eliminating such services altogether. And so I've been going back to the checks or cash or whatever. It's become at 3.9%. If you've got a $500 or $800 bi-monthly bill, that's a significant amount of money out of the bill. And there's no significant benefit to the consumer other than a little bit of convenience. And I understand the cost involved here, but I don't know what the cost is for processing checks. How that works out. Maybe checks are more expensive, but they don't incur a fee. How can we get that down to something like 1.5% to 2%, where the CCWD is not absorbing a tremendous amount of expenses in this respect? But thank you for listening. That's all I have to say about it.
The public comment on this item.
Mark Carter online.
Carter? Carter, you have the floor. Mr. Carter? Mr. Carter, going once. Carter going twice. Okay. Seeing no further public comment, Jeff, you have anything else you want to add before we get a motion from up here?
Yes, we do offer many types of payments.
Hello, if anybody can hear me, your audio is shut off for the Teams meeting.
Scar, we will make allowance here. We close public comment, but I'd like to hear what you have to say. Okay, then we will officially close public comment. Jeff?
The district offers several different options for payments, everything from checks to credit cards, to e-checks, to drafts out of your bank and so forth. And there's different costs. Mr. Roy was correct. There's different costs for different transactions. But we also need to balance that out with what our customers are starting to use more and more. So we want to make it convenient for them to make their own payments. A lot of people like to use credit cards because you're right, they get points and such. But it's also sometimes their payment of last choice. So in this particular case, we're constantly looking at ways to reduce transactional costs. And this is the big first step. And I think this is a big one. And then we'll keep looking at more and more options. But we do offer multiple ways to make payments.
Thank you. Very well, bringing it back to the board. Is there further discussion or any motion?
Yeah, I move this be approved as stated.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries 4-0-1. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, members of the board.
Move on to item 5C. This is regarding its approval of a side letter agreement, MOU with SEIU 1021 and the MCU, amending pay periods. Stacy or Michael, who's
Your
leading?
Teams meeting audio is shut off.
So staff confirmed it's working.
Yes.
That must be his speakers.
Speaker or his volume's all the way down. You can write
I
it.
mean, got it open.
Okay.
Michael?
I'm gonna turn it over to Stacy. Who should be online, right?
She is.
Stacy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Confirmation right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loud and
All
clear.
right. Good afternoon. I apologize for not being in person today. Wanted to bring to you a effort that the district has been working on for the past year in regards to moving our current payroll system from a semi-monthly period to a bi-weekly period. This change will allow us to more effectively use the
Your
Tyler.
Teams meeting audio is shut off.
Just, can we
You can't hear anything.
We can't
mute
text
him
him.
or he can't hear us to know?
We can mute.
I've muted
Okay.
him.
Well, we can't turn to the volume. We need to do it. Stacy has to.
Right.
Stacy. Sorry, Stacy. Could you please continue?
Yes, no problem. So this change that we are bringing forth,
Your Teams meeting audio is shut off.
so this item takes care of several things that have been occurring with our payroll. Most notably, the full integration of the Tyler services for payroll and time cards. Because we are unable to use the system effectively right now, there's a lot of manual entry that has to happen between the time card and payroll function. So this can, of course, lead to human error, which is reduced. I think maybe we've had one or two issues since Tyler was implemented in January. We take care of it rapidly. But this also aligns for better time card reconciliation and employees' understanding of how they are paid versus what their time card is submitted for that time period. We have met with both of the bargaining units and they are all in favor So with this change, it does require us to update our MOU and our policy. The MOUs need to be updated to recalculate the PTO accruals because they will accrue them for 26 pay periods versus 24 pay period. The total accrual for the year is not changing. That is remaining the same. Additionally, the wage scales have to be updated. Again, those aren't, no salary is changing. It's just updating from a semi-monthly rate to a bi-weekly rate. And then the pay period policy of the district has to reflect a bi-weekly pay system. So today we're asking you to approve the side letter agreement with the MCU, with the SEIU, and then the updated policy 2130 pay periods for the district.
Questions?
Yeah, it's just amazing how long it's taken us to accomplish this. A simple minor change to a policy because of but just the negotiations and the ongoing process of discussion, the extended manual input, the time it's taken HR, and it has been over a year that we've been discussing something that I thought was might take a week and a couple discussion points. I'm so glad to see the agreement between everybody that has to sit down and go through these items, and we have an agreement finally, and we're going to start the year with a better process. I'd love to make a motion now, but our current chair would like to hear from everybody else before we do that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hatterman. Are there other questions from the board before we go to public comment? Seeing none, I'll open this for public comment.
Francisco de la Cruz, thank you. We agree with many of the changes that this change implements. My previous life, I was director of HRS for Pacific Bell Mobile Services. I was also director of payroll for Pacific Telesis Services, and we converted at least 3 systems in my tenure. And I know this makes life a lot easier when you have a 40-hour work week that you get paid on that basis. The only thing I would caution you is that with all the conversions going on, a lot of problems come in on the old overtime. So that's what we will be monitoring, is what your expenses do in the overtime category, because that tends where things get a little wobbly. But overall, we're pleased with the change. Thank you.
Other public comment in the room? Any public comment online? See no hands raised. And Mr. Carter still got his hand raised. Hear us. So we will bring you back to the board. Mr. Admin, do you want to make that motion?
Do we have 3 different motions here, or will one take?
I was hoping we could do them all in a single motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that all 3 items brought before us be approved.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries 4-0-1. Thank you very much. Thank you, Stacy.
And if you don't
Thank
mind,
you.
President Garamendi, Mr. Carter, can you hear us? That disabled his microphone, which I hate to do because in case he addresses the issue, he can make comment later. So I might just check in.
Okay, yeah. Very well. We'll move on to item number 5D. Jesse. This is regarding authorization to construct contract for the Copper Cove reclaim plant filter rehabilitation work.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, gentlemen. So brief summary of this agenda item. Copper Cove Reclaim Plant has a Trident filter system out there. It was used by the district back in the early 2000s. We have never done any rehabilitation to this filter unit except for media replacement. So at this time, we're asking the board if you guys can approve this resolution to give us the opportunity to rehab this filter. it'll give us a little more life. I know there's other circumstances with Army Corps and other projects out there in copper, but this will further the life of the reclaim plant. Any questions gentlemen have?
I do. I was looking at this and I mean, some of these things, vacuuming, the slurry. I just said, we don't have the skills within ourselves to do that as an in-house. I mean, we're talking about $227,000, right?
Yes, for this project, correct.
Yeah.
For the process, I don't want to speak on any of our crew's behalfs, but in order to rehab this filter, you're sandblasting it all down to bare metal, recoating it with a new epoxy coat, and rehabbing some. We're getting some new valves, new actuators along with the project. So if we were to do it in-house, I could see us taking quite a long time to, one, you're pinning down a crew of ours to commit to this one project. Once you start, you can't stop. And if they need to be pulled to do something else, then
Yeah.
But it's a good question.
This is the kind of project though, where, time is of the essence. We have to get the filter back, in operation quickly. There is specialized equipment. It's a pretty significant task. It is a question. We should always be looking for what the most, cost-effective approach is. But I think when it comes to these, it makes sense to contract them out.
Jesse, I have two questions for you.
Yes, sir.
This company lists you as a reference, so that implies that you have worked with them before and you speak highly of them. They're going to do a good job.
Yes, sir. Yes, they have done good work in the past, and in a total of 4 other filter rehabilitation projects.
Yeah, I don't want to be shocked by the response to this next question, but if we just took this and hauled it away and got a brand new one, what would the cost of that be?
Probably closer to, the filter itself, just a brand new one. I know we just bought one for West Point. I think that was, $500,000, and that was a while back. So it
Total
could be.
project cost of the installation. I mean, different circumstances.
Yes.
Because that was an expansion, but yeah, well over $1 million for just the installation of that, purchase and installation of that.
Yeah, purchase and installation of a new filter.
If I remember correctly, that was $4 million.
Yeah, roundabouts under 4.
Project total.
Okay, so this in your recommendation, it's better to take this lesser expense now rather than pony up like we did up at West Point?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, West Point was the addition of a new filter, so we didn't have the rehab option there, but that's the closest recent comparison as we look at the installation of these filters.
As far as amount and time,
Many years ago.
we can jump in there, pull the media out, sandblast, coat, put the media back in, and get back to getting water out.
But it is an example of cost increases. If I remember correctly, 5 years ago.
Hunters was back in 2019. And it was for the 2 filters, bigger filters, it was roughly around 400,000. So costs have gone up.
Still in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thanks.
Hiram?
There was 2 bids, Clean Infusion and ERS. The Clean Infusion bid, Infusion's bid was found to be non-responsive. Let me know for what reasons it was non-responsive and what was the dollar figure that they came in on.
Okay, so Clean Infusion, one of their items under their proposal specifically stated the quotes listed in this proposal are based on standard Clean Infusion wage rates. So we did send this to district council. Just interpreting that, because California, we have to have prevailing wages. That included them to be a non-responsive bid for that one line item. Their costs were between both of them. This one was probably, with this per project, they're within $10,000 to $15,000 of each other. So pretty close.
And theirs was lower, but again, not with the correct wage.
Not with
in
the,
place, so
yes.
probably changed it significantly.
Well, for projects like this, it just always seemed better to have 3 or 4. I mean, and have one thrown out and still looking at something. Is there a reason only 2 were, is it only 2 responded?
So with this, with both, or because there's 2 projects on the agenda, we had a total of 19 inquiries online. So we posted it on public purchase. There was a total of 19 different companies who reached out to us. There was a total of 3 that showed up for the mandatory bid walk, and then 2 proposals out of that came down. So there was interest, but yeah,
Okay, no, thanks.
absolutely. No, I appreciate you asking.
Questions from the board? And we will have public comment. Anybody like to comment on this item, 5D? Online? No hands up. Very well. Bring it back to the board for further discussion or a motion.
I would like to move this item for approval.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 401. Thank you, Jesse.
All right, thank you,
We have the
gentlemen.
next one too.
Yes, sir. So basic summary on this one. These are the 2 filters at our Copper Cove water treatment plant. They were installed in 1998 and no rehabilitation has been done to them since. So we've limped it along for almost 30 years. I think we got our money's worth. It's time to jump in. With this project, we are getting new media. They are sandblasting, recoating, new valve, new actuators, new screens, pretty good gamut of rehabbing these filters. With this rehabilitation, we should at least be able to go another 25, 30 years. So same ask of the board to approve this resolution to give Mr. Minkler authorization for this contract.
Questions from the board? Mr. Adams?
Same basic question as the last item on who was this sent to the same or interest of 19 people and all invited and blah blah blah, and
Exactly the same.
the infusion company didn't even try that one.
It was the same line item about their
Oh, clean. Okay, I'm sorry.
their wages. Yeah, no worries.
All right.
But yeah, exactly the same
Okay.
situation.
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
Other questions from the board? Is there any public comment on this item? Francisco?
Thank you. So our reach out uses this public purchase website that I understand most governments use. Is it regional that we limit the availability, or is it statewide, or is it half of the United States? Does it make any sense to consider anything outside of that? Or is that just, no, that doesn't work that way in this industry? For example, I'm volunteer road manager, and I can find all kinds of paving contractors, but, oh, well, that's a little too far for us to stage and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know if you have the same issues. Because of your questions, we had 19 looky-loos and 3 bids. What's going on? Thanks.
Further public comment? Online? Jesse, do you want to respond to anything or?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, I think the short answer is it's widely, because I think that other bidder was out of Florida.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, to your point, there was one company out of Canada, and then the Clean Infusion, they're out of Florida.
Thank you very much. Bringing it back to the board. Is there further discussion or any motion?
Move for acceptance.
Motion,
I will second that.
a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries 401. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Get 25 years out of that machine. Right. Okay, this is Jeff Meyer's last item before he sails into the sunset. Item 5S, F, discuss amending fiscal year 2025-26 capital improvement project budget.
Good
Just take
afternoon.
the cost savings for your last item. not
Right.
additional.
That's true. Now I'm making you spend money. Actually,
Well, moving money.
there we go. Good afternoon, President Garamendi, members of the board. Generally, when I do budget adjustments, tends to be cost overruns or change orders and such. This is for a completely different reason. Mazingo, construction company who's working on our Copper Cove Zone BC transmission pipeline and pump station improvement, is ahead of schedule. Good question, Kevin. This project was estimated to go between fiscal year 25-26 and 26-27. They anticipate 90% completion by the end of this fiscal year, June 30th. So we want to move money from next fiscal year to this fiscal year. It's a $10 million project. And what we're looking at doing here is moving 4.5 million from next year to this year. Now, this project is being funded by the Water CIP loan number 2 that was issued earlier this year. And as such, I actually want to give, actually it's a budget transfer of 2.8 million, my apologies. I want to give Kevin kudos because he's been cracking the whip, tell him go, 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 because he wants to get projects done. So we've got a compliment engineering. They've been on top of this, and this is really good news for the district. And my recommendation to your board is to approve the budget adjustment 26-03, moving 2.8 million in from transfer in from other funds, meaning the loan, into the construction fund. And I'm open for questions.
So I have is we have 6 months. Why is it important to do now?
I can leave that to Kevin to talk about the construction time.
Okay. They're expecting to finish on or about June 1st, right?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Kevin. By the way, their presentation out in Copper was great. Really.
Yeah, so longest lead time items are the booster pump station. It's at our Clearwell, so that'll be the last item of work that's probably going to go into the next fiscal year. But the idea is to get most of the pipeline in by the end of June. So I think they're going to start on the main line here in another week and a half. So we've already purchased all the pipes. That was a big upfront cost for us because we pay materials on hand for the pipe. So that's all here. So we pay for that. And then they'll be mobilizing soon. And then we'll pay for the installation.
I think to answer your question, Director Robertson, we're just moving the timeline of the expenditure up. And so it's just a cash flow issue. The amount that was approved for this fiscal year isn't enough for the amount that's actually going to be spent. So we just want to make sure we have the cash flow available in the current fiscal year.
Yeah, we do.
Right. Yeah, I understood that from
Okay,
the
got it.
presentation. It just seemed like we have a little bit of time, but if we're running low on money, let's move the money.
Yeah, things could change in construction, obviously. But they're definitely going to go over what we have budgeted. I don't know if the 2.8 is the exact right amount, but we try to get as close as we can.
Interesting.
Very well. Public comment on this item.
Jeff, I hate to be a pain in the you-know-where, but we're crossing fiscal years, right? And we're moving 2.8 million from there to here. Let's say we were doing the cost of service study. What would that do what would be the material effect on the rates since we're collecting to cover cost of service, different fiscals? Thanks.
Thank you. Let's wait, let's go all the way through public comment and
Sure.
come on. Alf?
Ralph Copeland, Copperopolis. I pass the construction site every day. It's the material I sold for 35 years. And I was just going to say, I was pretty surprised about the long window that Mazingo had to drop this transmission pipeline in, because this is a no-brainer. The only thing that's going to hold it up is weather. Other than that, it's a blow and go with these guys. This is their bailiwick, and there shouldn't have been any question that this project would be completed within this fiscal year. I'm very surprised that it was stretched out that long. I stand corrected. The only items that could prevent them from completion, aside from weather, is delivery of product. And that's one thing the engineer, I'm sure, is on top of. That's it. Thank you.
The public comment in the room? Online? Seeing any hands up? Jeff, do you want to final comments before we take it back to the board?
Yes, the funding for this is from a loan. So we have all the loan proceeds in hand. It doesn't, the principal and interest payments on that loan were built into the cost of service study. Those are annual payments. So it does not affect the cost of service on this, just because we already have the funds in hand. Plus, when you have these type of loans, you want to make sure that you utilize those loan proceeds within 3 years.
Very well. Any further discussion or motion from the board?
I would like to make a motion to approve this item.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good.
Opposed? Carries 401. Jeff, congratulations. In
Thank you,
government,
Mr.
it's not
President.
every day we get things done early or on time, so.
Certainly,
Well
and
done. That's a good item to end on.
it is. And I was able to duck out, sign the global payments agreement, emailed it to them. So we're all set in that.
Once
Aye.
again, I speak on behalf of the board. Thank you.
Before you leave that podium, I'd like to express my gratitude for all your years and years, many years, and all your retirements and coming back, and even between retirements, we utilized you and your new firm to get our business done here at CCWD. You've been a valuable, huge valuable asset. I probably said this same thing in your last retirement or leaving CCWD. Hope to continue to see you around the industry like we have for several years, but you've done a ton of great work in moving money around, paying off loans early, and helping us with the finances. There's some of the things that you've done here in helping get rid of our retirement, the unfunded liabilities that were built into the retirement programs that we've had in the past. And thank you very, very much for your guidance and leadership.
Been my pleasure, Director Rademan. Certainly. Thank you.
And President Garrett, if you don't, I was going to save that for my GM report, but in case Jeff sneaks away,
Give it now.
I'm gonna
You're always standing up there in front of the map.
pile on because I did want to make sure we acknowledge it. Jeff declined the board resolution to acknowledge his retirement because he already has one. So we don't have another resolution, but of course we couldn't let it go by without these acknowledgements. So I appreciate the board. Jeff's just been a measure of comfort for me to know that you're keeping an eye on everything. And to Director Rademan's point, you've made a lot of really significant improvements, and really, really grateful and indebted to you. So, yeah, just thank you.
Again, it's been my pleasure. And
I know you better keep an eye on Tom Brady, because I remember when we first brought Jeff back, it was around the same time that Tom Brady came out of retirement and went to the Buccaneers. So if Tom Brady starts playing quarterback again, watch your phone. We might be.
yeah, I will do that. Now, however, this go round, I have grandsons. So that is the pull to stay retired.
Good for you. Well deserved.
Yes.
Well deserved. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
I have a question. With this budget adjustment that we just approved, will you somehow or other take care of that 2-cent deficiency and that?
No, I'm afraid it will not. That I'm going to have to live with for years and years to come, because unfortunately, our clerk over here files these away in forever. And it's always going to pop up. And I have a feeling I'm going to get phone calls from you, Director Thomas, at some point, asking me again, did I find the 2 cents? Did I find the 2 cents?
Yeah, Director Thomas always has to get his 2 cents in.
I do, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, we'll move on to reports. Operations report. Damon is not here, Jesse, you carrying the ball today?
Yeah, no cool presentation, but if you guys have any questions on the ops report, I can answer.
Questions, board? Right, it's not an action item?
I have
Sorry.
a question. The old pump station on, I think it's,
Kiva?
in Copperopolis, yeah.
Yeah.
The raw water pump station. Can you expand on, I thought that was a very complicated thing because the pipes were still out in the street and those pumps were still hooked up to the water source. Tell us how you did that.
So the first action item that had to be done so right now we're focusing all of our attention on the old water plant that's off of Kiva there. The first action item was to isolate the piping that was gravity fed from B tank down to that plant. And I believe that was done a couple months, maybe, about a month ago. So we had to freeze the line, do a hot tap, install a valve, and then close that. And then that allowed us to get inside the building to dismantle the piping. So that's what we're in the process of doing right now.
So you said you closed the line at the source.
It was close to the street, in the driveway of the facility there.
That technique has come into discussion in previous times. We don't have that freezing equipment. Get a contractor come in. That
Contractor does come in to do that. That's a pretty big pipeline too, that we can do 2-inch or under, but yeah, that was a 10-inch line. Just let the fog do the work for us. Yeah.
Jesse, one comment on behalf of
Yes,
the
sir.
board. Would you wish Damon a happy birthday for us? His birthday yesterday, I think.
Definitely, I will do that. We'll give him a cupcake.
cake with it.
Thank you very much, Jesse.
No problem.
Next item is general manager report. Michael?
Yeah, quick report here. The good news is, after many months and many meetings and phone calls, and a lot of work from Mia, we finally received our project partnership agreement and new letter report from the Army Corps of Engineers for the Copper Cove wastewater project. This is the second one now. So after we received, so far, just kind of a little bit of a backstory, we've received 3 different federal budget appropriations for that project. The first 2 were $2 million. We did a project partnership agreement and a letter report. The letter report is kind of, the project partnership agreement is a lot of the administrative details. The letter report is, for kind of an analogy that we use a lot, is kind of the scope of work, what is actually going to get done. And it takes a long time to get through the bureaucratic process at the Corps to get those things approved. So we had it approved for the first $2 million. We've been spending, working on those items, getting the project design, environmental review, all the tasks that were included in that purchase of the suspended air flotation device, this pre-treatment equipment that we're going to install. But then we, in the third year, we had an $11.2 million federal appropriation, and we haven't been able to use that until now, because the project partnership agreement and the new letter report has been in the works that whole time. So long, challenging process, but we finally made it. Kevin has been in the lead on that, and has done a great job keeping on top of them, and Mia as well. Mia sometimes has to educate the Corps on how the Corps operates, and she's very good at that. So it's good news. We're still kind of, there's still a couple of steps in the process, but we'll get the signatures, and then that frees us up to now go and take the next steps to finalize the design environmental review for the dam raise and implement the project. So still a long ways to go, still a lot of work to do, still more money that we need to actually complete the whole project, but this is a huge milestone. Let's see, I already embarrassed Jeff. Camera. So for a little bit of background on this one, Camera is the Calaveras Amador McCallamy River Association. It is
It's right now it's the authority.
Authority. Sorry. That's maybe that's wishful thinking. It is a joint powers authority between CCWD, Amador Water Agency, Calaveras County, Amador County, Calaveras Public Utilities District, Jackson Valley Irrigation District, and if I'm whoever I'm forgetting, I apologize. There's been a lot of discussion over the last couple of years about repurposing or reconfiguring Camera. I think the Camera board approved a revised set of bylaws that will kind of streamline the authority. So it will remain a joint powers authority. That was one of the questions: is does it need to be a joint powers authority or an association? And so just wanted to give the board a heads up that that's probably something, it has to go, amendments to the bylaws or the joint powers agreement have to go back to each of the member agencies. So it's probably something we bring back before too long. And then lastly, the Aqua conference last week, man, that seems like a long time ago. And it was compressed for me. It was a shorter than normal, but still really valuable use of time, a lot of meetings with other agencies, and a lot of very good discussion. I think there's a shift within Aqua, really kind of reprioritizing advocacy objectives. And the timing of that is really obviously in part driven by the fact that, we'll next year, one way or another, have a new governor. And so really trying to position the water industry to help whoever that is leading the new administration, provide them with the water industry's perspective on high priority items. Everybody is concerned about rising costs and affordability. Everybody is concerned about the cost of infrastructure, and those remain among the highest priority items for I think everybody involved. So a lot of, I think, important discussion happening about how we can help shape the future direction of what is sometimes a controlling factor in our costs, the state's role in regulating us. So really some really valuable discussions on that front in particular, but lots of other good meetings. And I think it's just great to see too, Damon is the chair of the Energy Committee there, did a phenomenal job. Kelly did a great job presenting in the Region 3 board meeting, as did Director Ratterman. So CCWD continues to have, I think, a really strong and proactive presence within Aqua, and I think that's really it speaks well of our people, but it's also helps us. It provides significant benefit for the district. So something I think we should continue to do. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. That concludes. Now we'll move on to board reports. We just got on like that.
Really have nothing to say other than I really enjoyed Aqua and learned quite a bit. And I'm curious, there's a couple of booths that I went to with Damon, and I'd like to hear his final thoughts when I just do that one-on-one about. But there were a few things there that I think we can possibly use to improve some of the more operational.
Yeah, on November 21st, Mountain Counties Water Resource Association held their fall forum in Auburn. Many in this room attended, staff as well. Very well attended, and the group is growing. Our advocacy is expanding, and a lot more to come from Mountain Counties in the coming year. I did get a chance to go to the Aqua Conference last week and learned quite a bit, a lot of sessions. A lot of people don't go to the Monday and part of Tuesday events. It's the JPIA's little show. I did attend those meetings as well. The CWIF, the captive insurance company that JPIA is the insurance company, the pooling company that insures 400 water districts in California, and I sit on the executive committee for that forum. We formed a captive insurance company for investment purposes about 5 years ago. That insurance company provided the JPIA with a $20 million dividend last year, and at the board meeting on Monday, we voted for a 3.5 dividend this year. That really helps with all of the members' rates. We don't call them rates, and it's not an insurance policy; it's contributions. And that's going to help lead to those big checks coming back to us like they used to in the old days. On December 12th, this coming Friday, Mountain County has a meeting in Rockland, and after the meeting, we're going to be revisiting updating our strategic plan. I don't think it was mentioned in your report, Michael, but I think on Monday we have a special meeting. Here at 10:30 next Monday, the 15th.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. We have too much for all of the time that we have today. So we'll have meeting on Monday as well. Because we have a couple of closed session items that we're gonna have to deal with separately. But it's also, I think, important to note that Kelly's will be presenting an open session on the grand jury's recommendation that we provide an update on public outreach efforts. And I know Kelly's put a lot of work into that, so it should be good discussion by me.
Okay. Like Director Ratterman said, some of us went to the Mountain Counties meeting back at Auburn. And I also went to San Diego to attend the Aqua Conference, which was, as always, very, very beneficial and educational. And Director Ratterman doesn't toot his horn very much, but I just want to acknowledge that it's not lost on me how much your efforts at Mountain Counties is really, really producing an awareness throughout the state about the role that the Mountain Counties plays, and particularly your organization. You might want to expand a little bit on this, but the Metropolitan Water District in Los Angeles is going to become a member of the Mountain Counties organization, and that's a huge development. I just really want to thank you for your efforts in that regard, and also JPIA. You seem to have a lot of energy to do these various things, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate it, and I think our board appreciates it as well.
Thank you.
So that's all my comments for today.
I also attended the Aqua Conference. I talked to the general manager earlier, and we're going to try to find a time, probably maybe January, February, about an evening meeting. I would prefer to do it, have closed session first, and then break, go into the public meeting about 5:30. So we'll work together to figure out a way to do that. Try to get it done somewhere in the first 3 meetings of January, or excuse me, in the new year.
Yeah, it's looking, I think we're looking at doing something similar to what we did last year, which I think for last year it was a second meeting in January. We did a year-end review presentation, and that didn't start until, I want to say it was 5:30. And so there'll be a kind of a portion of the board meeting earlier. I think we still started it later than normal, so it might have been a 3 o'clock start for the board meeting. We adjourned for a short break and then reconvened in the evening. And so we're looking at doing something like that again, either that, second meeting in January or
Just to be clear, it's not going to change our overall calendar. Just see how it goes. And it'll give us a chance to monitor what the costs are, how it flows. Also, We also discussed the fact that 2026 is the end of our strategic plan. So we get to spend this year taking a look at it, figuring out how we update that. The good news is you have a good strategic plan. And so hopefully we don't have to make this from whole cloth. Just see where we need to revise, needs to be updated, take that on for this upcoming year. That's what we've got. You were raising your hand. What can I do for you? Now, we generally don't have comment on non-action items. We're not required to, but you get this. If you do want to use your one chit on this one, without break, I have the ability to let you come up and talk. It's out of order. Take 3 minutes, and we're not setting a pattern. I want to make this real clear. I've been doing this a long time. I like meetings to run clean. Please.
I appreciate that. And in that case, the direct questions I was going to ask the general manager is, can we have an update on the efforts to replace Kelly in the business admin side? And also any light that he can shed on what the process is to replace the big hole that Mr. Myers is leaving. We have concerns. And if we're going to be limited to 3 minutes at a time, I'm going to be requesting individual meetings with each of you. And I hope that that's going to be workable in your schedule as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. All right, we are, if there's nothing else, we'll move into closed session and we'll return to adjourn the meeting after that. Oh, thank you very much. The public comment on items that are listed on the closed session agenda. Seeing none, thank you. Jesse, you have a question?
This isn't part of the agenda. Happy birthday to Kevin too today.
Happy birthday, Kevin.
Let's get out of here.
All right, let's back up. Thank you. See you in 10 minutes.